Unit 5, question 3. This question is asking, practice test 2, question 3. This question is asking us to take this polynomial, f of x equals negative x times x plus 1 times x minus 1, find the zeros, find the degree, describe the end behavior, but then also create a rough sketch. Rough sketch means put as much information as you can on the graph. So first of all, my zeros. If x is 0, I'll multiply 0 times two numbers. F of x will still be 0. So when x is 0, f of x equals 0. If x is negative 1, that makes this 0. So if x is negative 1, f of x will be 0. If x is 1, my third factor will be 0, which will make f of x 0. So I have 3 zeros, and I'm immediately going to put those on the graph. So x equals 0, x equals negative 1, and x equals positive 1. If I look at my degree, when I multiply those together, I have 3 factors. The highest exponent I can get is 3, so I know my degree is 3. If I look at my end behavior, I look at what happens, first of all, as x approaches infinity, and secondly, as x approaches negative infinity. And to describe that end behavior, I'll talk about what happens to f of x. So f of x is going to go to so x is becoming a very large number. It's going to be much bigger than 1, so this is still going to be positive. A very large number minus 1 is still going to be positive. A very large number plus 1 is going to be positive. X is going to be positive. 3 positive numbers multiplied together will give me a positive number, but then I make it negative. So I know that f of x is actually going to approach negative infinity. As x approaches negative infinity, x is going to be negative. X plus 1 is still going to be negative. I'll be much larger than 1, so a negative number plus 1 is still going to give me a negative number. Negative number minus 1 is, of course, going to give me a negative number. So I have a negative times a negative times a negative. But then I multiply by this negative. So I multiply by an even number of negatives. F of x equals positive infinity. Because these two negatives make a positive, these two negatives make a positive. Positive times a positive gives me a positive. So when I do my graph, I'm going to take this and put that on the graph. I'm going to look at x approaching infinity, which is going this way. X is getting bigger this way. X is approaching negative infinity this way. So if I go this way, f of x has to approach negative infinity. So I'll go down like this. If x is approaching negative infinity, I'm going this way. F of x approaches positive infinity, so I know I have to go this way. And then I can use some detective work. I can tell that this is going to go up here, come back down, and go through there. And I have completed my graph.